Assalamu alaikum. This is the Principles of Microeconomics course directed to first year groups G, L, M, O, R, and T. Let's continue solving applications relating to the market equilibrium. First, state whether the following sentences are true or false. Number 1. According to this figure, price ceiling would exist at a price of 8. This sentence is true. Why it is true? Because first of all, price ceiling is the maximum price set by the government at a price lower than the equilibrium price. The equilibrium price in this graph takes place at 10 and equilibrium quantity is at 50. At price of 8, we find that the quantity demanded equals 60, while the quantity supplied is 40. Okay, so this is a price ceiling. Number 2, according to this figure, if the government imposes a price ceiling of 8 in this market, the result would be a surplus of 20. Surplus means that we have excess supply. Surplus معناها ان انا عندي quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded. That's why this sentence is false. Why? We know that the price ceiling, it is a price set by the government below the equilibrium price. This price creates excess demand. At price of 8, the quantity demanded would be 60, the quantity supplied would be 40, so we have shortage, not surplus. Shortage means that we have excess demand. That's why this sentence is false. طيب الcorrection بتاع sentence دي ايه؟ هنقول كده according to this figure, if the government imposes a price ceiling of 8 in this market, the result would be an excess demand of 20. Number 3, according to the graph below, at a price of 12, there would be an excess supply of 20 units. This sentence is true. First of all, at a price of 20, it is a price that is above the equilibrium price. So we can call this price floor. At a price of 12, we find that quantity supplied would be 60, quantity demanded would be 40. The difference, which is 20 units, is a surplus. We call this surplus excess supply. So at any price above the equilibrium, there would be an excess supply. Number 4, the price ceiling is a maximum price set by the government above the equilibrium price and cause a shortage. This sentence is false. Why it is false? Because the price ceiling, it is a maximum price set by the government below, not above the equilibrium price, and cause a shortage. Shortage means that quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied. يبقى كلمة shortage معناها إن أنا عندي excess demand. تمام؟ يبقى correction of this sentence would be the price ceiling is a maximum price set by the government below the equilibrium price and causes a shortage. Number 5, the minimum wage law gives rise to unemployment. This sentence is true. Why it is true? Because we can find sometimes the government can set a price floor in the labor market. Okay, this price floor, it is a wages, minimum wages, at a rate above the equilibrium wage in order to protect the labor. Okay, in this case, we have excess supply of labor. We call this excess supply unemployment. So the minimum wage law, it is an application of the price floor. It is a price of labor set by the government above the equilibrium price and creates an excess supply of labor. This excess supply, we call it unemployment. That's why this sentence is true. Number 6. When technology is advanced, the equilibrium quantity would decrease. In order to solve this sentence and in order to know whether it is true or false, we have first to draw the graph. When the technology is advanced, this factor affects the supply side of the market. When technology is advanced, this would increase the production and the supply curve would shift rightward. Hence, the equilibrium quantity would increase from Q1 to Q2, while the equilibrium price would decrease from P1 to P2. That's why this sentence is false. The correction of this sentence would be: when technology is advanced, the equilibrium quantity would increase, while when technology is deteriorated, the equilibrium quantity would decrease. Number 7. When oil prices increase, the equilibrium price level would increase. In order to know whether this sentence is true or false, we have first to draw the graph. Oil prices is considered a factor on the supply side of the market. It reflects the cost of production. It is a price of inputs. So when oil prices increase, it means that the cost of producing the product would increase. This will not give the producer an incentive to produce more. That's why the supply for the product would decrease, and this is shown graphically by shifting the whole supply curve from S1 to S2 upward to the left, causing the equilibrium price to increase from P1 to P2 and the equilibrium quantity to decrease from Q1 to Q2. That's why this sentence is true. Number 8. When price of complement decreases, the equilibrium price would increase. Also, in order to know whether this sentence is true or false, we have first draw the graph. The price of complement is a factor that affects the demand side of the economy. When the price of complement decreases, it means that the demand for our product would increase. This is shown graphically by shifting the whole demand curve from D1 to D2, rightward shift or upward shift. This causes the equilibrium price to increase from P1 to P2 and the equilibrium quantity to increase from Q1 to Q2. That's why when the price of complement decreases, the equilibrium price would increase, and this sentence is true. Number 9. When the price of substitute decreases, the equilibrium price would increase and the equilibrium quantity falls. Here we have to graph the effect of the price of substitute and conclude the answer. The price of substitute is a factor that affects the demand side of the market. When the price of substitute decreases, demand for the main product would decrease, and this is shown graphically by shifting the whole demand curve leftward from D1 to D2. This would cause equilibrium price to decrease from P1 to P2 and equilibrium quantity also to fall from Q1 to Q2. That's why this sentence is false. The correction of this sentence is that when the price of substitute decreases, the equilibrium price would decrease and equilibrium quantity would decrease.